Um, I am going to just do a quick intro about what happened, just while we're sort of waiting for anyone else to join, about where I've come from with this. And I started off, I believe, well, I was awoken in the mid-90s by reading a book called The Celestine Prophecy. And shortly after that, uh, I know it's a good one. It's a good waker upper, and um, it's it just. I was also reading another book at the same time by Caroline Mice, or Miss Mice, and she's a PhD, but she's wrote a book called Anatomy of the Spirit, and another one called Why People Don't Heal and How They Can. And she, around about that time, I had started to work with chakras, and I was a REM therapist and a body masseuse, having been a single mum and retraining from my previous work on the hamster wheel, and wanting to be supporting my daughter as a single parent without having to leave her alone with somebody else. So that's what I was doing. Now, in that time, I realized that I needed to put some of my oils together because I was working with chakras, and I put them together to make some creams. And I didn't know what I was doing in Surrey, in England, in the UK with these creams, but I put a few together and they seemed to work quite well. I sent them to Caroline Mice for some confirmation or to see how she felt about them, and she saw 7 of them and just said that she thought that they were wonderful. So that encouraged me to then expand what I was doing, and I now work with about 22 chakras, a few more, but I work with 22. And the reason for that is because we need to keep our bodies clear as a channel to use as conduits for light as we step into this ascension process, moving from what was 3D and is now 4D, because we're all in 4D now, into 5D. So what is 4D and what is 5D? Firstly, 4D, in my awareness anyway, and I will, as a caveat here, say, don't listen to what I've got to say. Take on board what we say today, but please use it as a seed, and we're in the seed of life here, a seed for you to pursue your own investigations and perhaps a starting point for your own researches. And if it sits well with you, then that's great. If it doesn't sit well with you in the now moment, then that's also absolutely, of course, we must maintain our own sovereignty with all of this, and if it sits with you, then it's good for you. It doesn't sit with you, it's not good for you. And obviously, if you have a symptom that you're not sure of, I will say right now, right off the bat, you need to go and check out with your healthcare provider whatever it is that you feel that you need checking out. I've chosen my healthcare providers, and they are not in the medical profession, because they had me in a wheelchair. So 6 years ago, I was in a wheelchair, and I was diagnosed with multiple autoimmune problems. They would be ranging from things like thyroid to rheumatoid arthritis and all sorts of things. So 6 years ago, in a wheelchair, decided I didn't want to go down the route of medication and drugs because I didn't like what they did. So I used my oils, my creams, as an aromatherapist, as a healer, as a body masseuse, but also having put together my chakra creams. I use those on a daily basis along with the organ balancing creams, because we hold energy and we also hold emotion in our organs. So, for instance, anger in the liver, fear in the kidneys, grief, etc., in the lungs, those sorts of emotion. So I utilised the creams, and I changed my diet for 9 months and discovered that actually I can clear my body, and I don't use medical drugs. So that, to this day, is how I've healed myself. Now, one of the reasons that I have been researching and being full-time on my journey 24/7 as a healer, light worker, body worker, researcher, whatever you want to call it, starseed, galactic. And I've now trained with the shamanic because I need to ground the energy. I work very much with the galactic energies, the Christy galactics. So the ET energies, the benevolent ET energies and consciousness. That also brings in the realms of the ascended masters, the angels and the archangels. So what I do is I ground my energy through the shamanic realm by sharing something called the Moon Eye Key, which for me is an upgrade to Reiki, because Rei is universe and Ki means energy and my understanding of it. But Moon Eye is a love. Key is energy, so we're talking love energy, and for me love takes you omniversally rather than just universally. So for me it's an upgrade. I'm not dissing any other kind of healing that goes on. I will say that the Moon Eye Key is an absolute beautiful tool which will help everyone to work that you're bringing today. And know that Lewis, I'm very good at waffling on format, so we don't waffle on for too, or I don't waffle on for too long today. Then Lou and I can offer any suggestions based on of research.
Okay.
Combined into of fear based then and now. And we are we've stepped into 4D now, the fourth dimension. What is the fourth dimension? A lot of people talk about, you know, all the other dimensions, but the fourth dimension is made up of 3 realms, really, and that will be, in my understanding of it, time, fear, and karma. Now, in order to access going from fear of 3D through 4D into the bliss, joy, absolute oneness, harmony, unity, love, and health and wealth and happiness of and dance and song and bilocation and telepathy and everything that 5D is going to embrace, we need to release fear. We need to release all of our fear, and that is why we're being triggered. And that's why I believe this this virus thing has come in and it's actually serving us in many ways, because it's sort of putting us into a lockdown or a peaceful harbour where we're having to really visit what's in our hearts, because we're not able to go out and distract ourselves. So, you know, we are literally being forced to look into our own hearts.
Oh, lost. No, all right.
Now, for me, whatever you focus on, you manifest.
Aha. Well, I'm a man outstanding in my field.
Electrons. And you realise that because there is a light in there, and light always overcomes shadow. There is a light in there, and light always overcomes shadow. But Once we've done a little bit of breathing practice, which I'm going to talk you through, it's going to help you to access your Kundalini energy, but also to come up into your heart, and then to go. And I'm going to share that with you. It's something that's very, very simple. You don't need to spend any money on, and you can do it wherever you are on the planet. You do not need any particular tools for it, because you've got everything within you to actually do that work and to do the clearing. However, it is very important to keep your chakras nice and clear, and to face any fears that you've got before you can utilize the 5D unity consciousness and step into it fully, which is exactly, you just shine love and feel non-judgment, and just basically, when we're in 5D, there is nothing that separates us. We are one. We are this beautiful source of light which has no judgment, absolutely no judgment. And in my experience of 5D, I can't tell you, I do a lot of Stargate work, a lot of placement of crystal work all over the world. I work in Bali, I work in Mexico, I work in, obviously living in England at the moment. I have lived in other countries. Them in different locations to complete the grids of Gaia, so that she can upgrade her frequency into that 5D, because that's where she's going, and she will shake off any fleas that are on her surface along the way. And don't forget that the ancients always said to us that at this moment, in this now moment, from between 2012, 21st of December and 2020, and actually moving on to 2032, in this portion of time, bearing in mind we're working 26,000 year cycles of time, using the word time because that's 4D, doesn't exist in 5D or on other planets. It's just humans that have created that. We need to we need to recalibrate our physical bodies so that we can access that frequency much more fully. But when you're in 5D and you just love everyone. You just love everyone, and you actually start loving the people that really upset you, because you realize that they might be irritating you. It might be a family member. It might be, in fact, it's likely to be a family member, because we very often, we reincarnate and have been reincarnating and creating karma with familial members, where you might be brother and sister this lifetime, but you might have been mother and daughter, or father and son, or husband and wife in another lifetime. You may have been playing different roles for each other in other frequencies and other lifetimes, and you may be triggering each other. So your soul mates are very different from twin flames. A soul mate is a being that is here to help you, to trigger you, to bring up any old emotions which are preventing you from getting into 5D, into bliss and joy. So they are actually, when you get into 5D and you use the Ultra Major Chakra at the back of the neck, which is the main ascension chakra here. So if you put your hands just at the back of your neck now, just do that. And actually that is, this is support. You see how supportive that is? When we lie on a beach, what do? When we lie in our bed, what do? We do that, don't we? We're like, oh, this is so lovely, just like lying back. And some of my clients have said that they like it in their, if their partner puts their hand there, or a therapist might put their hand there, because when you do that, you feel so much support and so much nurture. But it's actually the Ultra Major Chakra, or as the ancients used to call it, Jade Gate, or Well of Dreams. So the Ultra Major Chakra shows you the big picture. It shows how this part of your life fits in with the whole of your life. So it shows you why someone who really, really is irritating you right now is actually doing something for you, even if you don't like it at all, and actually you just want to step away from them. because you can't cope with them being the way that they are. And I think with this COVID thing, some people are being shut into a space with someone who's really triggering them, or they might be shut away from others that your loved ones. So, or you might be by yourself, but there are all sorts of different situations that we can be in, and I happen to be very grateful because I've manifested myself a beautiful space with people with people that I love, and actually this is only benefiting me. It's just affecting me in a very positive way, and I'm fully embracing and enjoying this 6 months. I can still work, I can still do my one-to-ones online. And the other thing that this is all doing for us is to help us to realize that we can actually connect. Even if you couldn't get out to go and meet up with loved ones, or to do your maybe 9-to-5 hamster wheel job, we are actually being put into this space now where we have to face and embrace our inner self, what's in our hearts. And if that means that you have to face your inner demons, then so be it. And it's up to you how much of that you want to do, because you are going to get from shadow to light eventually. It's at the speed that your soul chooses. Now, I'm not here to persuade anybody. And what I've been doing is I borrowed this I heard a great analogy the other day. I do a lot of research, and there was this lovely analogy, and they said that there are 30% of the population that will not want to wake up at the moment. There are 30% of people that are just going to go, and you're nodding there, Joe. I can see you. If there are 30% that you're actually wasting your breath with, because they're not going to listen. And whatever you say is going to be a bunch of rubbish. You're going to be a conspiracy theorist. You're going to be a nutter. You're going to be a lunatic. I mean, I've had it for years. All of this stuff, they just basically say, oh, she's crazy, or talking a load of crap. And I'm going to watch the news, and and it's not in the newspaper, so I don't believe what you're saying can have any any structure at all, because it's not what I believe. Well, that's fine. They can believe exactly what they want to believe, because they will constantly manifest stuff around them which is going to prove themselves to be right, actually. So I don't even bother talking to those people. And when people I get attacked, I wouldn't say regularly, but I do get a fair few attacks here and there from a few people, maybe on Facebook, maybe on Twitter or Instagram or something like that. But I don't even enter into a conversation with that 30%, because there's just no point. I'm only here as an awakener. I'm not here to persuade anyone. It's not my job. I'm very happy in my 4 and 5D. I don't need to bring anyone with me. I know that they'll get there as and when is the right moment for them. And some will incarnate on in another realm, in a 3D realm, in order to raise their vibration, and so that they can actually get to the bliss of 5D. Now, there is 50% of the population who are on the fence. Now, there's the 50% that I talk to, because those are the people that are going, well, I'm not sure, I'm really not sure. I'd like to, believe some of the stuff you say, but a lot of it is crap. And that's fine. Now, that's the 50% who are sitting on the fence, and wherever you focus is where you're going to actually manifest your life. So what I'm seeing is that we're coming through a funnel, and this funnel is like we're in the neck of the funnel, and in this weekend we've come into this lower part of the funnel, where we can literally go into many, in fact, infinite pathways. You can go down like that film. What was it? Sliding Doors, with famous actors and things. But you can choose whichever pathway get back to the source light, and you will have a different adventure. And it doesn't actually matter which adventure you have, and it can be a long. I think we're still still floating in and out. So I'm just going to give him a bit more time. He's we had the eclipse, didn't we? And hey Lou, you're back, mate. You're back.
Yes.
We had the solar eclipse, didn't we? And we had the lunar thing, and we've got 6 or 7 planets, I think, in retrograde. Is it 6? And of course, Mercury's right out there. It's just joined in. I know, poor Lou. There, mate. You're there. Are you okay?
Yes. Thanks. Thank you. That was brilliant. I'm just enjoying every word of this, Sarah. Thank you so much. You're kind of riffing until I get in the program here.
Well, I was just chatting away. You know me.
Sure.
I can talk leg off or what's it.
Yes.
Wait until exactly. You can hop in at any time that you feel it's the right thing.
All right, sweetheart. Well, thanks. I'll jump in for a minute. I'm looking forward to doing your breathing work. That also sounds great. Yeah, you're talking about the astrology of things, which is really relevant to this time right now. Apologies about the connection. We're recording it, so hopefully it all gets sorted in the recording here. But it is a very powerful time of activation, and I loved what you were saying about consciously choosing the path that we want to be on. And you and I mentioned that this is the 3rd day of these 3 gateway days. So it's and 3 is a good number. 3 p.m. is when we started today. So there's I don't know if you saw, I did a letter yesterday, and I included a picture of the solar eclipse, and the picture actually happened to show a 6-pointed star coming out of the solar eclipse, which I thought was extraordinary. So there are signs all over, aren't there? Yeah, go on.
I think with this 6-pointed star, I mean, and that for me has been online since 28th of September 2015, when the galactic central sun came online. So from the center of our particular galaxy,
Okay.
so the galactic central sun now shines through the solar portal of our own sun.
Right.
So that date in September 2015, our sun is behaving very differently because the light is magnified, and that's perceived by our third eye, by the pineal gland, which is upgrading our DNA. So you'll notice that everything has changed since 28th of September 2015. And there was another date in 2016 at the end of March, which was also another huge galactic portal day. So, if you want to make notes of these dates, then you can do that and then think what was happening for me, because actually nothing will be the same since these dates. And since then, rather than just having the 7 frequencies of light of, red going through to orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet, now it's expanded. The rainbow, if you see a rainbow now, it's expanded much more than just those 7 colors.
Yeah.
If you look now, you can see the red, you can see the ultraviolet, and you can see many other frequencies of color in between, including things like lavender, lime green, peach, salmon pink in there. And if you like me, I've got crystals at the windows here, and when I do workshop prior to the lockdown, we always notice that that the frequency of light that comes in through and clears around the room, that if everyone has any crystals hanging at their window, The frequency of light, the rainbow, has expanded now. So, you know, I mean, try it for yourself. Don't take my word for it. Grading our pineal so that we can actually move from the 2-strand to the 12-strand, you know, and upgrade our DNA, embracing and upgrading the DNA into the 5th dimensional DNA, which has always existed, but we haven't actually had the technology to photograph, because the scientists have seen it as being junk DNA. And a strand of DNA spirals, and the spiral is very important, and it looks like 2 little ladders, a ladder with rungs in the ladder, and some of those little rungs didn't meet, and they used to call that junk DNA. But it wasn't junk DNA, it's just that we didn't have the technology back in 3D world to actually photograph the 5D portals that actually form the rungs to that ladder. And now that we've got the sunshine upgrading that to 5D, that's when our awareness, that's when our abilities of teleportation, of telekinesis, of telepathy, of all of these, you know, these upgraded senses that we've all got, all of us have got them. Even that 30% that I was talking about earlier that are asleep, they've still got them. They just can't actually access them because they're still too dumbed down with fluoride and mercury and chemtrails and eating crap foods and you know, Roundup and Monsanto genetic pineal calcified it so that it can't function properly. Now, I have been cleansing my pineal for the last 10 years. So mine is fairly, well, mine's clean now. So I can, you know, pick that up, but it only takes a little bit of time and effort to cleanse your pineal. It is not going to take you all the years that I've been working on it. You can do it fairly quickly. And just to finish on what I was saying there, because I've covered the 30% that are asleep, the 50% on the fence, and the other 20% are us, the ones that are watching this now, the ones that are joining. Yeah, we are the ones who are waking people up. So Lou and I have been doing it for, you know, at least many years, 30, 40, you know, I mean, how long have you been doing this, Lou?
33.
I love that number.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I do too, sweetheart. Yes. And you, I think you've got me beat, don't you? Yeah?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I woke up probably,
oh, you said
25, something like 25 years
yeah,
ago, fully.
Yeah.
I'll see longer, but in this lifetime, 25.
Sure. Yeah, brilliant. Well, let me just shift gears here for a second while we have the connection. Thank you, sweetheart. You're just such a resource, such a joy, such a fount of wisdom and knowledge. I'm just going to share my poem, which I read this morning, and then maybe I'll do a little channeling for everyone. We're kind of, 15 minutes from the top of the hour, so maybe we'll kind of shoot for that. But this is the poem that came through, and I posted this yesterday with a picture of the earth on it. Yeah. Let's see. Can I get it here? Yeah. Okay. Yes. So to dream is beautiful. To dream yourself awake is powerful. Sorry. Whoop. Sorry, I lost my place here. I'm just having a perfect time of it today. Thank you, God. Yeah.
Oh, it's that days, isn't it, Lou? I mean,
yes.
you're an amazing job, mate. An amazing job.
Oh, thank you, honey. Thank you. You too. Here we go. Take 2. Thank you, sweetheart. To dream is beautiful. To dream yourself awake is powerful. To create your own dream is magical. All of these are possible in a world where love is more real than fear. Choose to enlighten your dreams, awaken your love, and take your rightful place with the angels of this world and beyond. We are here to help you, never to do it for you. Divine love. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you. So let me just, yeah. So, I mean, there are so many things you've said, like yourself, I'm just super grateful that we have any kind of a map as to what is happening on the planet, why it's happening, and some concept of how to respond to what's happening. And you know, we know that we're in early days of this shift, all things considered. Excuse me. And I loved what you were saying about how the lockdown has forced everyone to retreat and to really kind of search our souls and look, you know, at our relationship with the earth and with our abilities and the time that we have here and how precious life is. And that's deeply important and meaningful to me as well. And also, you know, you and I know we're in service to that 50% that, you know, as we've gone through ourselves, all of us here, I'm sure, Maggie and Angie and everyone, Joe, you know, we've all taken 2 steps up and 1 step back. We've all thought, you know, we got it figured out, and then something happens, or, you know, and we're completely, you know, thrown for 6, as they say, once again. So it is a very, very humble process. But I just want to say this while my eyes are open, and I'm sure I'm on with you here. To me, it seems like, you know, this is the divine feminine, the season of the goddess, the season of the heart, the time of the goddess, the time of the heart, of honoring our spirit. Yeah, and really, you know, it's been a huge season of grief here as well, of a lot of death and fear and illness and loss of income and loss of the future that we all expected and planned our lives around and counted on and hoped for, etc. So in the midst of, you know, these great challenges are these new choices, you know, and that's what you and I are so passionate about. And I'm sure everyone here, that we want to explore what choices are available to us. We want to support each other, and it's wonderful that everyone's shown up here to share the space with us. And we want to give the world some hope, is I guess what I really want to say, that this is not the end of the world. It is the end of a world, a way of seeing reality, you know. And I loved what you said. Yeah.
And the beginning of a new one. You know, this is where we totally manifest exactly what it is that we focus on. So wherever we focus, we manifest. We had a couple of questions, Lou.
Sure. Yeah.
Facebook Live, Sue Garner. Sue, you're saying I'm diagnosed with an underactive thyroid and fibromyalgia. Is there any help for me? Absolutely, Sue, there is. Yeah. You know, if you want to connect with me, you know, again, after this, then I can certainly, I am that autoimmune girl, you know, I am the one that's been researching this since, well, for the past 25 years. And you too, Joe, yeah? So definitely, I've done so much on this. It all comes down to the gut. Actually, it's the cleansing of the gut, the liver, the gut, and what we're putting into our bodies. And I do remember being told once that, you know, your body is a temple, you know, and all that business. And I thought, oh yeah, your body's a temple, yeah, right. As I like ate my KFC and, you know, and had my coffee and, you know, had a builder's tea and my rich tea biscuit and, you know, all of that stuff. And I thought, I can't possibly not have my addictions because I love them and they're part of me and that's what it is, you know, that's what I do. But it wasn't until I was literally put in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
That they said, and with and then they said, you know what, you're going to have to actually listen to this. And I was like, no, kicking and screaming. I don't get after a while because when you can't move, physical pain, man, physical pain, swelling. You know, I was up to like nearly 18, size 18. I was like, you know, really big. And within about 2 months of coming off this medication, this thyroxine that they put me on, I literally dropped about 3 dress sizes and went down to a size 12, and you know, dropped all of the body weight because these toxins of the allopathic realm had been foisting on me for so long, had prevented, I hardly ate a thing, but I was really large. Sure. And I couldn't lose. I felt guilty and all of those things. So yes, Sue, yes, definitely I can help with fibromyalgia and thyroid. Anything? Have you got any other questions? I mean, Joe, did you have anything that you wanted to? No, you've been silently sort of listening. I'm just having a little look, kids,
Sure.
if there are any other questions as I'm going down here. Jagdish is the water sign, that's lovely, and that's very emotional. It is, you know, Sue was saying, yeah, it's all brain and gut advises everything, but it all comes down again. I think once we really peel everything back, it comes back down to the heart. So, if, I mean, I think that the breathing practice that I've got to suggest, Lou, is about 5 minutes. Do you want to continue
Yes.
while I
That's lovely. Yeah. Right. So I'll just we'll definitely do your breathing exercise here before we finish up. The thing about all of this, once again, to my mind, Sarah, is about balance. You know, like you're saying, and how the earth is a place where we come to master balance. And you know, I had an autoimmune illness for a year when I turned 40 because I'd been drinking you know, aspartame, sugar-free nonsense, and that wiped me out. Yeah, that literally, it took me a year to get my natural health back. So all these things, like you said, they're there, and ignorance is our greatest enemy in terms of taking care of ourselves in this world. Yeah. So I'm like you, just mad for researching and understanding what's happening and what to do about it. Just to come back to the spiritual and the mystical here for a moment, of course, the greatest gift we can give to the world is our own lives working well, and our own happiness and our own joy. And I think the opportunity in the lockdown and the last 10 weeks here in Ireland and in the UK and in the States is for us to decide that we want to be on a different track. And I just want to say that you and I are here to help people learn how to make the map for the next chapter of their lives if they're aware that they want to change, get off the old road and get on a new road. And there's nothing more exciting than really finally beginning to live your dream, you know. And a lot of us get to it after we've tried everything else, you know. And that's what this time is giving us a big permission slip to do, live your dream in a new way. So I just wanted to put that out there as well.
Totally. And Sally is saying, how do I know which path to choose when we come out of the funnel? The family all need me too. I think that's wherever you focus, and one of the 3 free tools that I suggest there, Sally, is do the Ho'oponopono. You know, when you've got a young family, and I'm there, I'm a mum. You know, when you're looking after somebody else, you know, and sometimes you're maybe parenting the parent, you may be parenting a child. You know, that you need to be there for somebody else. But what you can do, and I've got many stories on this which I can go into another day, but is you can do the Ho'oponopono. I always say that wrong, which is I love you with your hand on your own heart. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And Ho'oponopono is a Lemurian prayer. And if you want to Google that, then we can provide links under this. But it's all about how to change the outer world. And basically, you know, the question from Sally is, how do we know which path to choose? The one, follow the light inside your heart. You know, what is it that makes you tick? What is it that you love to do? Imagine that you had no financial restrictions. Imagine that, you know, you could just do whatever it is that you wanted to do that made you passionate, that you love, you know, your hobby, the thing that you know, as a mum, you forget, you even, you know, or if you're a carer for somebody, you often forget who it is that you are. You know, you forget what turns you on, forget the light that brightens your life, that lifts you. And it's following that light within you without worrying about the restrictions of you know, other people's opinions, money, restriction, hamster wheel jobs, all of that stuff. You know, that is something that I believe that this COVID situation has actually brought us to. One of the shadows that we're looking at within our hearts is to do that. So that's another one.
Can I add to that, Sarah? Can I just? Yeah.
Please do.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, my guides say your passion is your purpose. I mean, I agree with everything you just said. Yeah, and you know, it's the hero's journey for all of us is trusting our passion. And you know, I love what you're saying about Ho'oponopono. I'm a fan of that myself. I also like the old EFT, you know, tapping and getting the nervous system calm and letting go of everything and reprogramming and all that. The you know, again, what Sarah and I do with people one-to-one is we get you to feel and remember that you are safe, loved, and supported, and the answers lie within. You know, it's a cliche because it's true, my friends. We can search the world for the perfect person and the perfect situation, but if we don't hold it in our hearts first, we're never going to find it. So this is really that time, as you're saying, you know, when we need to really soften, open, and deepen our connection to our deepest heart, and get into that peaceful state as often as we can. And then from that peace, clarity begins to come forth into our lives, and we're not scrambling, etc. So that's what I work on myself and help people to do, is to get to that place of stillness, and then you can trust the clarity that comes out of that. You know?
I mean, you and I meditate a lot, Lou, don't we?
3 times a day is my new routine now.
Absolutely. And I do it every morning. I find that my best time is first thing in the morning,
Sure.
as for me, and before I get up. So I just get my downloads in the mornings, and evening time. I'm not so good. I tend to fall asleep with dry, sketchy eyes, and then sometimes researching. Because Lou and I are heavily into Virgo, and we're advisors, and we do a lot of looking, a lot of analysing, and I do a lot at night.
Yes. Brilliant. Yeah. So any other questions or comments we want to speak to?
I haven't got any. What can I do to improve my vision? Jagdish, that will be your eyes. So that's the Ultra Major Chakra at the back of the neck. Again, eyes, vision, seeing the bigger picture. And yeah, we can talk. I believe, Jagdish, you've got that cream. So it's very much about seeing the big picture, which connects with the optic nerve to the eyes and the vision, and seeing the big picture, pulling back, as the shaman would say, be the place of eagle, the place in the east, where you can see how this part of your life fits in with the whole of your life. So I've been writing about the Ultra Major Chakra for the past 15 years, and having articles published on that. So yeah, do come back to me with more of that. And I believe that we are coming to the top of the hour now. So would you like us to go into that short exercise?
Yes, do that, and I'll close with the channeling if you like.
Wow, wonderful. That's brilliant.
Okay.
This is a really short exercise. So if you just sit with your sitting bones on the seat that you're on your feet, if you can, flat on the floor, but sort of just connect in and feel your spine fairly tall and straight if you can, and hold yourself up. And your shoulders can drop, and you can start to become aware of your breathing. Place your hands on your side ribs, and I'd like you to think perhaps of your breathing in and out into your hands. So literally pushing your hands out with the in-breath, and you'll feel your abdomen and your belly expand. On the out-breath, breathing out any heaviness. Breathe in, push the side ribs apart. Hold for 3 and breathe out. Now we're going to do it on a 3, 4, 5 breathing practice. So you breathe in for 3, hold for 4, and breathe out for 5. Breathe in for 3, hold for 4, and sigh for 5. In for 3, hold for 4, and sigh for 5. As you sigh for 5, you can continue with that breathing. I'll talk, As you continue with that breathing, you'll find that your feet become more and more connected to Mother Earth. You'll find your adrenals start to calm down. You'll find that you start to feel more connected, safer, more secure, and that actually does calm the adrenaline down in your body. The next thing that you do is, as you're breathing, you want to visualize a bubble around you expanding around 8 feet around you. That's your own safe, sacred space, your balakocha, as we call it in the shamanic term. Your own sacred space, your own bubble. And visualize that that bubble is sealed at the top and the bottom with a little trap door. And you may want to open the trap door at the top and bottom of your bubble if you choose to. And you can perform what I call a bubble cleanse, or the shaman call it a salmon shakwi. That's the Peruvian shaman in the Andes, they call it a salmon shakwi. And you breathe in light from the great central sun, from the source energy, whatever that source is for you, God, Goddess, energy, source light, from the highest accessible point of source, and allow that beautiful light energy to flow in a spiral into the top of your bubble, and start to fill your bubble with light. As you breathe that light down and around your body, it spirals and clears any heaviness in your bubble. As it connects to the top of the bubble, it starts to flow in to fill the bubble. And think of the hoocher or the heaviness as toxicity. Think of it as a sort of a black tar, or any stuck souls, vows, cords, attachments, miasms, curses, blockages, darts and barbs, anything that's ever landed in your energy bubble which is not helpful for you in this now moment, and just see that being pushed down through the hatch at the bottom of the bubble into Mother Earth, and she will transmute it for you. And that light can then fizz down through your crown chakra at the top of the head, and to flow through every cell, every molecule of your body, and to clear away any dust or debris through every atom, through every proton, neutron, electron, every strand of DNA, fizzing and effervescing away any heaviness that's in any of those molecules to the surface of your body, into the bubble itself, and then to be pushed down by the light spiraling around you, down through the hatch at the bottom of the bubble, just like you were standing in the shower and it was washing dirt off your body and going down the plug hole, down through the plug hole, cleansing, clearing, cleansing, clearing. You can take that light and take it down through every part of your body, through your head, back of the neck, jaw, throat, shoulders, higher heart, thymic chakra, into your heart, filling all chambers of the heart with purest light, cleansing any heaviness, any grief, guilt, filling that heart space, your golden chalice, with light, taking that light down into your solar plexus, sacral, your base, through your knees, shins, calves, ankles, and down through your Earth Star and Gaia gateway, and down through the hatch at the bottom of the bubble, which is overlighted by Archangel Sandalphon. The upper chakra is guarded and looked after by Archangel Metatron, and we ask that we have 4 angels of light around us. Archangel Michael in the south, Archangel Gabriel in the west, Archangel Uriel in the north, and Archangel Raphael in the east. And we are safely, securely protected by all of these angels and the power animals they connect to also. The next thing I'd like you to do is place the tip of your tongue between your 2 front teeth, trail it back across the ridges until you find a small, soft part of the palate, which is like a curved, concave part of the palate, and the tip of the tongue touches that part of the palate which connects a circuit. and connect that circuit to the base chakra. You'll notice in the very base of your spine, there is a serpent-like energy, the Kundalini energy of your body, your energy fields, your physical, mental, emotional, spiritual fields. Connect, draw a line, a Shishumni, channel down through from your pineal, which is the center of your brain, your third eye, going all the way down through your spine to your base chakra, which is the perineum, the point that you're sitting on. So that line is a channel of light. And now the pineal is a third eye. And the third eye normally looks out between your eyebrows. With your thought and your intent, the way that you would normally ask your normal eyes to move around, roll that eyeball in the middle of your brain, in your pineal, roll it with your intent up to look through your crown chakra and to look and gaze at the source light. And feel the channel of light now flowing from the source all the way down through the top of your bubble, through your pineal, down through the channel, through your spine, the 33 vertebrae, and the golden disc between each vertebra. It will light up down to the Kundalini energy, flowing down through the bottom of your bubble into the heart of Gaia. That enables a flow of energy, and you are now connected to the oneness that is. And as that flows in a toric field, which is like a donut-shaped field, from below, up through your spine, out through the crown of your head, it flows out and round you and down through your Earth Star chakra at the bottom and flows up again in this donut-shaped field. It flows around you and spins 360 degrees around you. This is your own safe, sacred space. Nothing can disturb it unless you choose to let it. And now close the top and bottom hatchway of your bubble. And do that exercise as long as you'd like to, or until you can really feel the connection, so it's worth practicing. And we ask for the last blast of light from the highest accessible point of source for the highest good, to bring down the final blast of beautiful multi-dimensional frequency of light, just to flow over the skin of our bubble and to cleanse any dust or debris off the skin of the bubble, to allow it to flow, and your bubble can shine like a rainbow. And you are, when you're ready to open your eyes now, going to notice perhaps a clarity, more light perhaps, more definition of vision. I don't know, maybe nothing, but you will maybe more connected. Lou.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Sarah. That was gorgeous. So just finishing up here very briefly, go ahead one more time, close your eyes, turn within, take a nice deep breath. Right, God bless you, dear friends. Here we come. Well, dear friends, you are the bridge between heaven and earth. And it is yours to be the light of this world and to shine that light of your spirit and to share the love of your soul through your heart, through your actions, your thoughts and words. You've come together here today to create a beautiful work, to remind each other that you're spiritual beings having a human experience. And indeed, this is the time that you've been preparing for lifetimes. So take the love of all that is with you in your heart of hearts and know that we are with you each and every step of the way. You, the map makers, the way showers, the dream weavers, you who are here to break the new trail, to make the new road, to make the new path. There aren't a lot of external markers yet, dear friends. That's your joy, to be the signpost for others to see, to be the lighthouse for others to find their way through the dark, stormy waters of these times. So, dear friends, you've heard the messages here. It's been beautifully said many times. You're here to live your passion, your purpose, your joy, to embrace the freedom of these times. Where in your life do you have greater freedom now than you've ever allowed yourself before? That we'll quote our friends here, the basis of life is freedom, and the purpose of life is joy. It's time to let freedom be the bridge to your joy, dear friends, the path to your joy. And it's time for you to trust your hearts and to let yourselves love yourselves enough to let us love you, to let life support you and guide you and heal you and touch you. And we're here for that with you each and every step of the journey, anytime you're willing to come back into peace, dear friends. When the mind is upset or conflicted, spirit is stepping back, dear friends. When you come back to peace, so we can embrace you in oneness and hold your dreams and desires in our hearts. And as you return from moments of deep inner journeying, so you will begin to remember your higher purpose and understand that everything in the universe is conspiring to guide you home. Dear friends, we love you so. Peace and blessings. Namaste.
Thanks, Lou. That was just beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
I'm just noticing that a few more people have joined us on Facebook Live, and I just want to wish Sue Murray a very happy birthday today.
Great.
And also, know that for each and every one of us, that bliss and joy are literally wherever we focus our intent, and to look out for those power numbers of the numbers of 1 1s and 2 2s and 3 3s and all of those things. Today is the 22nd, and we have been through huge turbulence in the last 2 days. And my guides have been saying to me that anything happened before Friday is gone. Everything is now very, very different. Everything, bye bye, all of that. Everything has changed. The structure of everything on this planet is now being deconstructed in order for us to construct whatever it is that we want to construct. So where you focus, you will manifest. And if you love, you will be loved. And you've got to love yourself, and you've got to accept yourself, and you've got to embrace the shadow and love your shadow. Love it. I'm frightened of certain things, and I face many fears, but I haven't finished. Lou hasn't finished. We're still here working on it. Otherwise we wouldn't, we'd be busy. And you wouldn't actually see. I know we are actually. Lou has been busy. The fifth dimension. That's why he was spending quite a lot of time, in the other realm. I think as we were setting up. Where you went.
Bless you, bless you. Well, sweetheart, it's just always a delight and a joy. Let's do this again, and thank you for your time and your wisdom and your love and light today. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Lou, were we on until, was it between 3 and 4 or 3 and 5?
Honestly, I don't know. The storm has calmed down here. Do you want to keep going? What's your sense of things?
I was under the impression, rightly or wrongly, that we were doing 3 till 5, and I'm just looking to see if anyone's got any questions.
Sure.
I'm not
sure.
Sneeze now. Excuse me. But I'm not restricted at the moment. Thank you.
Sure.
So if anybody does have anything that they would like to say, because this is a workshop, and it's not just about us sitting here spouting what we've learned. All the people that are here may have other questions that they might like to ask. If not, we can cut it short. I'm fine with that too.
Yeah.
But I know that Lou and I have always said that if you want, when someone has said here, how do we manifest our the next part of our journeys, and it's just wherever we focus. The way that you would find me would be to look at my organicaromatherapy.co.uk website, and I do free chakra readings there. So if you want to go onto that, on the very home page, which is a very old website, it's built in 2012. So it's, please forgive it, I haven't got around to upgrading it yet.
It works.
But it has got a bar where I do free reading. So the blue bar going across the front page is where you click, and I'll give you a free personalized reading where I tune into your frequency. I'll just use your name and your higher self. I access. I can talk to anybody's higher self. So a lot of people would say, "What does my Aunt Mildred need?" And I have to tune into Aunt Mildred's higher self, and if that is giving me permission, then I can tune into that and to give her the first 4 chakras, or to give the first 4 chakras that she could do with unblocking. And in my experience, when I've watched the photographing through Kellyan imagery of the unblocking of these chakras, because that exercise that I did, the flowing of the Kundalini energy, and anyone here had a Kundalini experience, a full Kundalini arising, because if you have, you'll realize that it's like the best non-sexual orgasm you're ever going to have. You know, it's just like, whoa, it's just that lovely moment of bliss and joy, and like, whoa, what just happened there? You know, it's just amazing, amazing, amazing. But if you've got blockages to do with emotions in your chakras, then the energy gets part way and then it gets stuck, and then you might end up with a symptom in one of these areas. So this is what my creams do and what I can help you with, you know, not just creams, but with essences, with crystals, with sprays, with, you know, breathing practices, with noise, with sound, with, you know, I think the most important things at the moment, Lou, from what I'm hearing, are that sound and the crystals are 2 vitally important tools that are coming to help us as we move from carbon-based body into the crystalline or silicon-based body. Because if you look at the periodic table, carbon is like a lump of coal, and it's not very far away from silica, which is more of a crystalline base. And if you want to turn a piece of coal into a diamond, then it actually takes a combination of heat and pressure. So we're all getting heat downloads. You know, I think it doesn't matter what age you are, you will be experiencing surges. Yeah, Joe's laughing, bless. You know, I am too. Surges of like extreme heat and then extreme cold, and like massive sweats, and then, you know, freezing cold and needing to wrap up. So it's not just a hormonal thing. You know, children are experiencing it. You know, I was menopausal for 10 years between the ages of 40 and 50, and that all went for years, and then it came back again in the last few for a year or so. And literally, it's like take it out of bed with you. You know, because it's like the whole flush. Go ahead, Luke.
Yeah, no, thanks, sweetie. Thank you for sharing that. I'm sure there's a lot of women out there that really, and men. Okay, all right. I have something to look forward to, but we'll give it to the ladies here so far. I have to say, but just no. I have not experienced that honestly, but I hear you. What I want to say is what I'm very conscious of in terms of what you're sharing about the shift is people's nervous system. You know, literally people's nervous systems, that's what I see emotionally, physically, you know, as you were saying about heat and pressure, and how, you know, you and I know in our work that we keep helping people take the pressure off of themselves. And, you know, as you said, with Ho'oponopono and forgiveness and compassion and acceptance and self-love. One practice I've started doing, I got this from Ingrid. We were talking about Ingrid earlier, Ingrid Turner, our friend. She does I love you 108 times to herself every morning and evening, and I've started doing it the last few days, and I'm like, this is nice, this is much smoother. So you know, say again. Yeah,
you have mandala beads, and the mandala beads are 108.
Yes.
So all of our spiritual friends who wear mandala beads, you know, they're literally counting off the beads for 108 times. So yeah.
Yeah, I think Joe's grabbing hers to share with the class. Yeah, you got yours?
You got some?
No, okay. She's checking her phone, one or the other. Okay, bless you. But yeah, I mean, it's like we're saying. Oh, okay, a pen. That's good. That's lovely. Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm just glad we have a decent connection because we didn't for the first 45 minutes here.
Well, Sally has just said, yeah, she's also got the heat thing and the menopause.
Right.
Things. So yeah, but I know that, you know, it's not just us girlies.
Sure. No, I hear you. What that also brings to mind is a lot of people are working with deep breathing, with the Wim Hof method, with cold showers and cold plunges and lovely things like that. I haven't completely thrown myself into that yet, but I'm dipping my toe in. Well, because again, it's the nervous system, and like you said, the this whole detoxing emotionally, physically, spiritually, etherically, you know, that we're all being asked to keep going through, right, Joe? You know, and it's a thing. Joe, do you have a story to share with us about that? I can unmute you here. No, you're just cheering us on. All right, darling, bless you. Yeah, and so again, like in your beautiful meditation, that was really lovely. I do the same thing. A pillar of light is what my guides call it, you know, and just bring it through from the heavens, from the great central sun, grounding in the earth every day. You know, we love the hands over the heart and affirming and blessing and declaring and decreeing, you know, whatever our heart's desire is, all is well for me and my loved ones, for the whole wide world, etc. Invocations, affirmations, affirmative prayer, all these kinds of things. And then I guess the other thing, spiritual hygiene, is, you know, not giving too much language and energy and emotion to things that we don't like, as you were talking about focus, to things that we're, you know, unhappy with, or complaints or gossip, or, you know, low vibration talk. That that damages the instruments, is the phrase from my guides. Yeah, that doesn't serve our higher purpose.
That's so true. That's so true, Lou. I'm just getting at, you know, I'm trying to see what the other questions are, because
Sure,
Anita's
honey.
just asked me a question.
Okay.
But I what that is. Talking about the manifesting, I think it's Anita. Hang on, Anita? No. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. AIOFA, I think I can see there. Is saying, how do I work on manifesting? AFA. Then it is literally you're focusing on your most perfect outcome. But the other thing is, Joe, is Lou, is that, you know, wherever you focus is what you're going to manifest. So a lot of people say to me, I'm worried about this, I'm worried about that. But if you're worrying, you're praying for what you don't want, right?
Yes, yes.
The other thing is that if you say, oh, my bad knee, then you're owning my bad knee. And it isn't going to go anywhere. You know, it's the language, it's the inner language that we use. And we need to be so careful
Yes.
of language, don't we?
Yes, that's right. And intention, of course, you know, this is why, you know, my guides say peace is the presence of infinite possibilities. And so as we can come into peace, you know, as we were talking about meditating, especially in the morning, and, you know, it's magic time, especially with this new energy. I mean, I just feel this new energy is just like really open things up for all of us in a wonderful, amazing way. So, you know, as we give thanks for what we have and what we want, and, you know, we ask to be an instrument of, you know, Almighty God, however we want to put that into words, and give thanks for that, you know, the doors are open. Things are, we're flowing in a state of grace. Yeah. The quote I like from Abraham is I said that in the channeling, freedom and joy. They say the other one is, if you don't have joy, you have very little to offer the world. And that's a really high bar for human beings to start from. But that's where they're asking us to reach for, like we're saying about living in a space without fear, without karma, without pain and darkness. You know, we got a lot of cleaning up to do between here and there, boys and girls. Yeah.
A lot of people on that, speaking to that for a minute, Lou, a lot of people are saying, well, you know, how come everything is so crap right now? You know, how come it's all so horrible? Well, if you visualize a drain, or a you know, or a river that's had a dry riverbed for a long time with just a trickle of water, and then you turn on the tap, or the rains come,
Yeah.
and the rain is down, then it brings with it all the dust and dirt and debris that has built up in that river channel along the way.
Yeah.
So if you realize, because Jagdish has just said to me, others it was extremes of extreme heat and cold, is it a cleanse of an invisible spirit? Well, no, but it's probably the cleansing of of your own crap, actually,
Yeah.
because as it flows through the lymph system of the body, as it flows through your emotional body and your mental body, then it's going to bring with it anything karmically, because we're allowed to clear karma this lifetime, anything that we've been building up in a physical level, so old emotions or programs, anything that we've held within our beings, within the cellular structure of our bodies. We've all got work each lifetime, right?
Yeah.
So we've all got different blockages, and as we allow that river to flow, then it's going to bring with it, the dust and the debris that has been clogging the channel along the way.
Yeah.
And as it flows out, it's uncomfortable.
Sure.
But if we focus on that, it becomes even more uncomfortable, because you're going into, oh my God, that old illness is coming back. Oh, I had back pain 15 years ago, and now I couldn't move then, I couldn't work, and couldn't earn money, couldn't pay my bills. And if you go into the focus, you've always got the choice about where you put your focus.
Yeah.
And if you focus on the negative or the heavy side of that, then you're going to manifest more of that. But if you, I try to do any is to see it as an old cleansing, which is actually benefiting me, so I'll never ever have it again. Then I can stay in joy. Then I can stay in gratitude.
Sure. Well, bless you. My guides say you don't get finished, you get better. Yeah. So getting better is progress, and we won't worry about never again, because that's inviting the ego to sneak in there, I'd say. So I just, but I love what you're saying, because it really is true. Whatever we're focusing on and whatever we're feeling about what we're focusing on, that's us defining what that means to us in that moment, isn't it? Right? We're giving it the meaning that we're bringing to it. And so, like we're saying, hon, we're totally on the same page, hon. As we clean our side of the glass every day and say, I want to see the world through new eyes and a new heart. All that's happening right now in my country, in the States, in your country, in the UK here. Ireland's very quiet and very peaceful. I've nothing to complain about over here. But thank God. But as I watch my friends in these other places, what's happening in the States with all the protests after the murder of George Floyd and all of that, 25 days in a row. But what's happening is there's a great dialogue that's coming forward from people, and that's affecting the whole world to talk about these things. My housemate and I were talking about, so he's friends in the States, of course, and there's a minister there who said to his congregation in the US, I'm a white minister, and we need to look at this. We need to look at our white privilege in relationship to our Black brothers and sisters in our country, and we need to take responsibility for how out of balance things have become. And very much like at the end of apartheid in South Africa, really deal with the healing truth beneath all of this chaos and confusion and conflict and all that. So there's a huge opening about compassion and creating a new vision here for the world, and all of us seeing each other and holding each other a lot more deeply and a lot more in our hearts, etc. The world needs our hope, our inspiration, our ideas, our creativity, our gifts, all of that. I see a lot of people, doing painting that I never knew they could do, or writing things that I never knew they could write, etc. Music. There's Joe. Good. Looking forward to that, Joe. So there's a huge. We're at the beginning of a renaissance, spiritually and creatively and socially. So I would say, please stop arguing for your limitations, and please, keep your eyes on the prize, because this is a time unlike anything in our history, and I'm sure we're up to the challenges of it.
And they say, don't they, that if you to visualize yourself having £1,500 being put into your account every month, and so that was all your immediate needs taken care of, your rent, your mortgage, whatever you may have, your food in your cupboards, and any, your power, everything, what would you do?
I'd do what I'm doing right now, quite honestly, But
We're lucky.
Yes, we are. We're very blessed. Absolutely.
We are.
Yeah. Do you know Michael Beckwith, my minister from Los Angeles? Have you encountered him? I'll have to share him with you. So he says a similar thing. He says, imagine all your needs met. and then imagine that you have more to offer the world because there's more coming from the universe than you can use for yourself. So where would you start wanting to support them? Like one day I was going through my own ups and downs here, and Amnesty International called me, and I said, yes, I would pay something £7 a month, €7 a month. Great. And I thought, well, I have that today and I can commit to that today. And I love Amnesty International. So there you go. And things have been flowing very nicely the last 10 days or so, because like we're saying here about this huge change, the universe wants us, of course, to be successful and abundant and prosperous and joyous and happy and free. Our work is to believe that that's true, you see, to really hold on to that. So I guess the thing about, for me also with manifesting, is gratitude. You know, whatever I give thanks for every day, grateful, grateful, morning, noon, and night, grateful, grateful, that opens the door.
That's the key. I think if there is nothing else that people can take away from what we've been talking about today, it's gratitude. And every single minute of every single day, I'm grateful, even for the bad shit.
Well,
you know, the stuff that they bad. You know, I mean, the stuff that maybe upsets my energy.
Sure. Sure.
Just grateful.
Sure. I mean, you're. It's great. It's great, Sarah, because you're really saying that. There was another point I wanted to share with what you were saying there, that from the comment that we started with here, which is like Patricia Cota-Robles talks about this. You know, that what has hidden must be revealed. What has been denied must be encountered. And you know, I mean, you and I go down the same rabbit holes and find the same nightmares. You know, of crazy people running the world for their own mad purpose. And, you know, vaccines and, you know, on and on it goes, COVID and on it goes. So we know that, but the whole key that I want to talk about here with the question there is about vibration. And this is Bashar, who says, reality has to match your vibration. It's that simple. So if you vibrate above feeling imprisoned, feeling frightened, feeling powerless, you vibrate above that, feeling free, feeling powerful, feeling sovereign, then the reality has to begin to accommodate to that. So I think we really have just literally started this whole new, you know, the first 6 months of the year, however you want to describe it. Yeah, let's put it this way. Yeah, the first 6 months of the year, straight down into hell. Now the next 6 months, some of us who've been, you know, looking at this and these things for a long time, we're starting to go, okay, I got it. It's going to keep going down for people that are not awake and unconscious and in resistance, and that's okay, or innocent, bless them, whatever. But, you know, we're going to go this direction because it's now time for that to start to happen. So, you know, it's very simple. We need to know that we're safe, loved, and supported. We need to go into peace as often and as deeply as possible. And we need to be grateful, like we're saying, for what we have and what we want, and then open. You know, the universe brings to those people who are prepared to receive. It's just that simple.
Well, I've been teaching Raise Your Vibration workshops since the end of the 90s, and I do at least 4 a year. So I do Ravi Raise Your Vibration levels 1 to 7,
with through the chakras. You work with each chakra.
Yeah, the first 2 courses we base around the first 20 chakras or so, 18 chakras. After that, I go into other stuff around stargates, around manifesting your bliss, around we go into the third eye, we go into the soma chakra here. You know, we talk about the vagus nerve, the psoas muscle. We go into a lot of detail, but basically, if you raise your vibration, you change what you attract. And you know, when I was first given those words by my guides back in the end of the 90s, raise your vibration, I thought, what does that mean? And I nearly even got when I was looking at developing my website, I nearly got the domain name Raise Your Vibration. But then I realized I couldn't afford it because it was like, I don't know, it was another couple of pounds that I didn't have at the time. But since then, it's become, you know, fashionable to use those words. And that's exactly what we need to do. We need to clear our clutter. And yes, you use the chakras, but there are other things that you can do that you do need. And I know this is vital to keep your chakras balanced and clear in order to raise your vibration. And that is absolutely vital, regardless of whether or not I make chakra greens. I mean, that's why the spirit worked through these hands for me to put them into practice now. There are other people doing stuff around that, you know, and it's not just me.
Sure.
You know, there are hundreds of us who are all doing it. But in order to manifest your dream, you have to look after you. You have to embrace what's going on within you, raise your vibration, raise your frequency, attract the next thing in of you know, whatever it is. Become aware, become a conscious individual, become sovereign, and you know, not be led by fear, not be distracted by the duality, you know, by the shadow and the light. We need to embrace the shadow within, love it, and actually realize that without the shadow, we are not light. And we need to accept our shadow and love our shadow, and also to accept responsibility for everything that's on the planet. You know, I mean, I'm talking about the shadow side and all the you know, all the horrible things that we see on the planet. Actually, it's a reflection of humanity. You know, it's what we've been doing to the planet, you know, for way too long. You know, Gaia has been asking us to look after and start cleaning up by what products are we using on the planet, what are we throwing into the oceans, you know, what destruction are we causing, what horrible things we're doing to, you know, everything on the planet, and expecting it just to absorb. We've got to a point of toxicity, which is now, we can't go back. You know, there is no going back on any of these levels. The new normal is what we create from this weekend, from today, from this now, and we can change all of it.
Sure. That's right. That's right. Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. And you know, there's this project that's happening this week called World Unity Week, based out of Australia. My friend Pookie Lee from Hawaii told me about it a couple days ago. And their opening day was Saturday, and they had about 30 different indigenous teachers from all over the world. I don't know if you've seen it yet. And of course, that is the message of all these brothers and sisters as well. What you've just said so passionately, that, you know, the earth is going to be fine, folks. We're the ones in trouble here, you know, and we'd better take responsibility for living in the world we want to.
We're the problem.
Of our children. Yes, and we're also the solution. Thank goodness.
Yeah, we are. We are the only thing. I need to think about what we're leaving for our children.
Right. Well, you know, there are
crystals and stuff.
Yeah. Sorry, that broke up a little. Can you say it again?
Well, we need to be thinking about our children, what we're leaving for our children, and to start listening to children, and the fact that, you know, they're the ones with the wisdom. They're the ones. I mean, you know, how many times have we actually come across a baby that's just been born, or a young child which has got, you know, so much wisdom. You know, I've looked into the eyes of a newborn child, seeing more wisdom, diversity, and got, you know, God knows how much. You know, you look at a child playing a keyboard that you think, well, they haven't been on the planet enough years to actually develop that amount of skills and that motor neuron, you know, ability to be able to do that stuff. So that for me is, you know, very indicative of many other things. You know, lives and things and incarnations, but they're the ones with the wisdom. So you're looking at the crystal children. I mean, you and I are indigo level. You know, that's our age.
Yeah.
You know, if you look at Boris Cannon's work, if you look at Masura Emoto's work,
right.
You know, all of this stuff. We were the ones that have had to elbow our way like warriors, and then they came into the next realm. And now we're into the rainbows, you know, that we moved through the crystals, and now we're into the rainbows and the diamond children.
Right.
And born now is going to be much more attuned to the higher frequencies and teaching us.
Oh yeah.
Words of, you know, the mouths of babes.
Sure. That's right. Patricia Coder-Robles talks about in the last, where were we? Well, last August, when we had the 33rd harmonic convergence anniversary. That's the time when she has her yearly conferences and does incredible work with people in person and all over the planet. And she said, you know, the focus was on awakening the solar codes in the rainbow children who were born without karma, you know, and hold these answers and these visions and these you know, brilliant ideas from, you know, directly from source. And yes, as you said, our work has been like the Marines, to take the beach and clear the path, and then they're to come in and you know, show us what victory can look like and teach us in the process. Absolutely, I look forward to it. There's a lot of young people who have great wisdom that I see at the moment, you know.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
song and dance and joy and bliss, and, you know, just focusing on the good. You know, a lot of people look at the same park, and you know, some will see all the dog poo and the rubbish and the dirt and everything, and someone else will see the new shoots. You know, it's the same park. It's just how you choose to look at it.
Sure.
And I think is the key thing. You know, we can all look at or have a conversation with somebody, but it's which part of that conversation that each person will perceive something different from the same conversation. We always used to joke and say men had selective hearing, didn't we? But actually, you know, I think we've all got selective hearing, because, you know, some people are going to take something away from this chat that we're having today, this workshop that we're running today, and somebody else will say, well, I didn't hear them say that, but I did hear them say
Sure.
that.
Sure. Yes. Yes.
Their truth.
That's right. My guides have said this is the most subjective time in our lives.
Yeah.
Because of your point there, that as the paradigm is fragmenting of 3D and the patriarchy, so you know, every one of us is by default really creating more of our reality consciously than we've ever realized. And like, again, the question, why are things falling apart, or why are things so difficult, or all of that, you know, it's to get our attention, as you said. It's to motivate us to see how we want things to be different. And excuse me, my guides say that 2020 is the year of vision and of the visionaries, you know. And of course, the quote from the Bible, without a vision, the people perish. And so again, I feel like the first 6 months of this year has been us descending without a vision. And now, as people are really talking to each other and thinking outside of the box and looking to create history rather than be trapped by history, you know, suddenly things are changing. And it's the beginning of this new world, for sure, in this time.
Well, I feel that actually the first 6 months of this year have been actually quite great. Because, you know, I mean, rather than going downhill, for me, it's been going uphill, because I actually quite like being a bit of a hermit personally. And I mean, I'm sorry, I do, I know.
Oh, it's fine, sweetheart. Not everyone's in March in lockstep together, of course, yeah.
But the other thing is that I just want to talk about, because we were talking about moving into 5D.
Yeah.
That's what we started off with. One of my students here that comes, well, teacher, student, teacher, whatever you want to call it, someone that I work with,
yeah.
Went off to Avebury just after yesterday, and then she went to Woodhenge, because obviously we do a fair amount of sacred site work. And I said to her, was it busy at Woodhenge? And she said, you know what? I was the only person there. And Woodhenge is much more powerful energy than Stonehenge now. Wow. And then she was ready to go to Avebury, and she said, you know how it's like in Avebury, you've got the pub in the middle and the two stone circles of the masculine and the feminine, and then you've got and they kind of interlink, the circle of the sun, the circle of the moon. And what they normally do in Avebury is shut all the roads, so you can't park anywhere and you have to walk. So she said it was absolutely jam-packed. Everything was packed. She found a parking space. She walked down to the circles, and when she got there, she was by herself. Where were the people? Now, that's happened to me several times, because they can be in the same physical place, but in a different frequency.
Sure. Because
we are like radio transmitters, so, you know, or receivers.
Yep.
So maybe that in another frequency, she was in the fifth dimension or above, in a different frequency, there was a whole bunch of people who were all milling around the stones. But she didn't that, and that's happened to me many, many, many times.
Sure.
You know, car park can be full of people, but I get to the restaurant and there's nobody there.
Sure.
Because,
Sure.
and I get the best service and the best food, but it's actually what you're vibrating at. So it's like a radio transmitter receiver. If I'm going across, you're getting it, Joe, aren't you? I can see it's like ringing bells for you. If you go across the hills just at the back of me here,
Yeah.
you at one stage can pick up Angel FM and Sam FM on the radio in my car.
Yeah.
And it's the same receiver in my car, and I'm picking up two different worlds, two different radio stations, playing two different tunes. And then I move slightly this way, and I can hear Angel FM, and I can move slightly that way, and I get up Sam FM. So I'm literally picking up two different frequencies. And Tesla always said, didn't he, you're picking up, if you want to heal, you've got to think in terms of frequency and vibration. Yeah. That's what you've got to think. So wherever you're vibrating is what you're going to manifest.
Yeah.
So at that point, you know, for the first part of this year, I've been loving it. A lot of people have been thinking it's crap. Well, I actually really love it. And my daughter is the same. She lives in Bali. And, you know, she was saying exactly the same thing. You know, I'm actually quite liking this, Mum.
Yeah.
Because you know, it's actually really easy for me.
Sure.
And you know, this morning I had people out in Bali who and Thailand who were listening to my live, and you know, they're just basically getting on with their lives. There are a few little things that are causing a few little issues, but if you don't tune into it, it doesn't affect you.
Sure.
I mean,
sure.
I'm once put on a mask, and I'm not going to. And you know, at all. I'm sorry, I'm just not. For me, it's like being gagged. That's my opinion. Now, you know, I'm not advocating that people go out and do that.
Sure.
But for me, my truth, and I stand in my truth, and I go with what I feel is right. And that might not be what somebody else feels is right.
Yeah.
And that's,
Yeah.
I wouldn't judge that. I
Yeah.
wouldn't judge it.
Yeah. Yes, there she is. Let me unmute you, my friends. Here I come. Unmuting you. Unmute audio. There it is.
Unmute.
Go on.
Okay. Can I ask you a question? Since all this has been happening, as I call it, kicking off, can you tell me what are the sounds that I'm hearing? I am picking up different frequencies, beeping, melodies. About 2 months ago, now I'm getting, it sounds like a digital beeping. It wakes me in the middle of the night, and I can't get away from it.
Can I speak
What
to
is
that?
it?
Can I speak to that one? Is that
Yes,
all right?
of course. No, please.
The fizzing, so it's like white noise, and also you get high frequencies and pulsing that's coming in. It's your guides. It's an upgrade to your pineal. So some people will give it a name. If you give it a name like tinnitus, then actually you're not going to get rid of it. Old paradigm stuff. But actually it's the frequency that's coming in with the Schumann resonance of the planet, which is shifting. So that is coming in and upgrading the pineal through the semicircular canals of the ears, which are aligned with crystals. So you've got your hammer anvil and the other stirrup, those bones in your ears, in the cochlea, which is a spiral within the ear, and that liquid is shifting in density. So therefore it sounds different. So what's actually happening, and I get it, I've had it for 2 years now, Joe, so, but it comes and it goes. In fact, it goes when I'm in an aeroplane. So when I fly, my ears clear. When I come back down to land, they pop like I'm underwater. And so I totally get where you're coming from. Hundreds of my clients say the same thing. You are not alone. It comes and it goes, and sometimes you get it coming in through one ear, and then it stops, and then you might get another high frequency squeak through another ear, and another ear. You've only got two, right? But like a high pitched frequency, which is and the fizzing and the popping. Well, you don't need to know what the words are, but it's downloads from your guides. And what I've noticed since I've been doing this vibrational work is that binary literally is flowing. If you know these like little like green and turquoise ones and twos of binary, it's like a raining down. And I used to firstly I caught it on camera when I was doing some work with Amrita Melchizedek down at the tour. You're feeling it in your crown right now, probably.
Ooh, right now, yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about it, so they're coming in more strongly. So when I was doing this work with Rita down at the tour about, I don't know how many years ago it was now, about 8 or 9, maybe longer, years ago. Firstly, we photographed it happening, then we videoed it happening, and now I see it with my eyes. So you're literally getting, because I can see auras and things now, but if you're literally getting fizzing of binary coming down from your guides and your galactic star family, and the higher frequency of light, which is actually upgrading your pineal, affecting the balance in your ears. Do you feel dizzy, Joe?
It's a long story. About 10 years ago, I started to get unwell and my balance just went.
Yeah.
People, I think they thought I was drunk. I couldn't stand up. And this has been an ongoing thing for about 10 years. But the last couple of years, I'm getting better, and it's definitely clearing. And I'm taking more control, and I'm understanding it and everything. I used to work as a medium, clairaudient, all that stuff for 30 odd years. And everything just went blank 10 years ago, completely as if somebody shut the door and I couldn't see anything or hear.
You've frozen there, Joe?
Yeah.
Okay. Just waiting for Joe to unfreeze there.
Yeah.
But that certainly sounds spot on for me, for me,
Yeah.
Lou.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. I hadn't heard a lot of that before about the pineal. That's very helpful.
It's
Yeah.
one of the symptoms, actually, the imbalance, the dizziness, the nausea, we're still waiting for Joe to
Yeah. I just to let you know, I have 5 minutes left on my side of things here. Yeah.
I'm good.
Sure.
You want to wind up with anything there, Lou?
Well, oh, there she goes. Maybe she'll come back in. Oh, that was brilliant. Let me just think on my feet here for a moment. Maybe just a closing prayer.
Yeah, why don't you do that?
All right, sweetheart, is that all right?
Why don't you do
Okay, all right.
I would love it.
Thank you. It's been a joy, Sarah. Thank you so much. You're amazing as always. Thank you, darling. Okay. So we'll just close our eyes. Everyone, thank you for being here. Turn within, take a deep breath. Mother, Father, God, indwelling Holy Presence, we bless this circle as we come to our completion here for the moment, recognizing that something has been given and received by each of us. And we're ever so grateful for the hope, the inspiration, the ideas, and just simply for showing up for each other and standing in the circle of possibility and vision, and for being the change that the world is seeking to find. We know that this time is unlike any other, and we're so grateful for opportunities like this when teachers and students, we come together as one, and we recognize our inherent worth, knowing that we're sacred, perfect, whole, and complete in the eyes of God. We give thanks for each other. We bless this circle. We know all is well for each of us and all of us. Something new has begun, and we feel it. And we're so grateful to live this truth and to shine our light and share our loves. Thank you, Father, Mother God. We let it be. It is so. So it is. And together we say, Amen, Amen, Amen.
Amen, Amen, Amen. Oh, thank you, Lou. That was wonderful in Lakesh, brother. Thank you for inviting me here today. I've been so grateful.
Thank you. My honor, my pleasure. Let's do it again soon, and we'll leave it there for the moment. Okay, darling. Okay.
Perfect.
All right. Love
Hey,
you.
guys.
Thanks, everyone. Yep.
Bye for now.
Bye for now. All right.